The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning, welcome to Catholic Chicago. I'm Father Greg Sackowitz, the rector of Holy Name Cathedral in downtown Chicago. And to my left, Mark Teresi, who is coordinating the 175th and 150th anniversary at Holy Name Cathedral, plus many other ministries within the cathedral. Morning, Mark, how are you?
Very good, very good. 175th is coming. A lot of exciting events, including commissioning and installation of a Sacred Heart statue that's being sculpted by a priest of the Archdiocese, Father Tony Branken. Exciting.
And that'll happen in 2025.
On the Feast of the Sacred Heart.
Correct, in June. So we will continue from the first segment. Again, the Catholic Campaign for Human Development is the domestic anti-poverty program of the U.S. Catholic bishops working to carry out the mission of Jesus Christ to bring good news to the poor, release the captives, sight to the blind, and let the oppressed go free from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 4. CCHD is an essential part of the Church and United States social mission and a unique part of the Catholic community's broad commitment to assist low-income people, families, and communities. Join us this morning to talk about CCHD and the Grand Cycle. Again, is Danny Baudet, who is a CCHD/CRS program coordinator. And also join us for the second segment is Anna Miller, who works with CCHD recipients, the voice of the people in Uptown. So Anna and Danny, again, Danny, welcome to the program. And Anna, welcome to the program. How are you doing, Anna?
I'm great. How are you all doing today?
Good. Well, we learned off the air that you are from, you said Kansas City?
Correct.
And you're a big Kansas City Chiefs football fan. Even you said
Absolutely.
In the days when they were not as great as they are today.
Yep, born and bred fan right from the beginning.
In fact, we have a great parishioner at the cathedral. His name is Tony Baudet. He's like you. He's a diehard Chiefs fan. In fact, he goes from Chicago to a couple of games a year. The Chiefs play for their home games. So,
is he related to Danny? Tony Baudet?
Ironically, Danny, he spells his last name different than you. He pronounces it Baudet. But I never thought about that, because different spelling, but same pronunciation. So Anna, tell us about the work that you do. You work with CCHD recipients, the voice of the people in Uptown. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we actually have a longer history with CCHD than a lot of folks do. Voice's mission is to promote and provide and support affordable housing, both in our area in Uptown and throughout the city of Chicago. And we've received grants from CCHD in the past to help our residents of Uptown mobilize and allies in support of community development. And so we've organized task force against displacement and housing development. I myself work more in the social services side, so we offer coaching support to residents of affordable housing in budget planning and in advocacy training, as well as professional development for job searching. So the grant really helps us support the community and promote self-sufficiency and allow for our residents to really take the microphone and support themselves and advocate for themselves, which is a really incredible mission to be a part of.
So Danny, how do you and Anna connect?
Usually over coffee.
I like that answer.
No, actually, I was referred to Voice of the People in Uptown through a friend in Uptown that I have through a member of the Catholic Worker House in Uptown. So that was kind of my connection to Voice of the People, and really quickly just fell in love with their hospitality. They have a really lovely space in Uptown that I always feel very welcome at. They always have cupcakes as well, which never hurts. And it's been a joy for Anna to be sort of my main point of contact with the grant work, because obviously we We both are young women in this field, and it's a great joy to connect over these spaces and the joys and the difficulties. And again, always over coffee. So
Now,
it's a great joy to work with her.
as I listen to both of you, again, you're both so young, you're so dynamic and so faith-filled, and you're passionate, is the fact that you are basically the same age and young, does that provide an opportunity to kind of share on a level, because you are peers, to be kind of doing the same type of work, working with the poor? And I know for both of you, because Danny mentioned this in the first segment, is that it's been very humbling to work with people, that they've been able to teach you. Would you also say, and the work that you do, that you have found this to be very humbling and rewarding?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to watch the resilience of a community that's been here long before me and will be here long after me, and to be part of continuing the diversity of that experience. And I know Danny is a big part of that as well, and making sure that we are connected with the folks that we need to and the funding that we need to continue this mission. We want to continue this relationship, and a lot of it is due to Danny and the fact that she is so passionate. So we're so grateful for her and her work, and it helps us do our work. And we've had a really good time being a part of this community. You know, we were born of advocacy in this community. We were started by our own residents. We are the residents are our bosses. Our board of directors is primarily residents, which is kind of it's a rare thing nowadays. It's about empowerment, and we want to empower our residents. And I think Danny saw that when she walked through our doors, and I think that's where we connected, is that level of empowerment, and making sure that the right people are the ones speaking about their own lived experience.
Now, can I ask, so this is years ago, classmates and I worked at St. Mary of the Lake, and the community sounds similar in terms of new folks coming in, immigrant population. How does a parish fit in to the work you're doing? Does it in any way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, while we, for the most part, with Danny, work on advocacy and empowerment of residents, as I said, I work on the social services side. So we have a newer program called the Community Cares Closet. It's a closet that is devoted primarily to serving residents of affordable housing and the folks around the area that provides hygiene products for free. We know that a lot of the state and federal programs that allow for things like food do not cover hygiene products. They're considered luxury items, if you can imagine. And so we try to provide those things for folks to make some room in their budget for other things. And a lot of that is through the donation of the community. I am actually a parishioner of St. Mary's on the Lake myself. And
Great.
kind of talking to parishioners, a lot of it has to do with the donations as well as getting volunteer support. You know, the closet has to look neat, it needs to look tidy, and it also, a big part of the closet is being able to walk through with another human being and hear their story, and you need another person to listen for that. So we also have volunteers from around the community and the parish as well that help out with that.
That's great. Now, Danny, give our watchers and listeners an idea of the process to apply for a grant once again. How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the pre-applications for our grants are open now. Exciting. They close in about mid-October. And then around Thanksgiving, we extend invitations to submit a full application. And those are due in the middle of January. And then we, a team of grant reviewers and myself, it's called our allocations committee, conduct site visits with groups. We're usually divided into teams and sort of schedule those separately. And so members from the community go and conduct these site visits with these groups. And then we compile our recommendations for the Cardinal, and then the Cardinal reviews and provides feedback and approval for our recommendations. And then we award grants in July-ish.
How are your funds allocated, and how can people support this work?
Yeah, so all of our funding comes through the second collection that happens in November.
Oh,
of course, there's
okay.
an online giving option, but it's really centered around that one weekend in November. And 50% of what we collect goes to the national CCHD office, because they hand out, that money goes into a pool that gets handed out all over the US, some of which ends up in Chicago. And then we keep 50%. And I believe 6 or 12% goes to administrative costs, and then we hand out the rest in local grants. And it ends up being a good amount to support the groups that we have, asking to be in partnership with us in this way.
That's a great summary. Thank you, Danny. Anna, do you have a story you can share with us that has really energized you in talking to an individual or a family or a group in the Uptown area?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a million, but one that really pops out to me is, we own and operate 15 buildings of affordable housing in Chicago and particularly in Uptown, and we have about 215 units throughout Uptown. And so we had a recent move-in, a young family who has 3 children. And they were so excited to be able to move into the north side and have this really incredible community. And we were able to recognize that the family wanted to be involved. And so in kind of talking to this family, we found that they want to be involved in the safety of particularly young Black men in the community. And so we have started offering professional development classes because of this grant, to this individual, so that he can start his own nonprofit that is all about the safety and professional development of young men in the community, and offering a safe place for them to learn and to grow and to have a job. And during this time with him, we've just noticed that this individual is just an incredible person to his core. He cares about this community. And so we've actually just recently, our board has selected him to be on the board of directors, which
Wonderful.
also allows him to do further work within the community. And he's loving it, and he loves this neighborhood, and just from day one has stepped up. And a lot of that is just due to being able to have access to things like professional development, to the things like the closet, where his budget can go more towards his kiddos' school supplies, things like that. So it's little things that become elevated, and that's where our leaders really are born, is for the community and by the community.
Yeah, wonderful. And Danny, you in our earlier show, you talked about accompaniment. What about you? Is there a story or that stands out to you that says, boy, this really validates
what
the
you're
ministry I'm involved in?
Absolutely. Really, any time I get invited to events that our grantees put on, I feel like it's such a privilege to be an accompaniment and attend this event. One example that I'm thinking of is with another grantee called Arise Chicago.
Oh, sure.
They're
Oh, yes.
a workers' rights group in the city. And they invited me to their workers' General Assembly meeting, which was conducted entirely in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And it was a very unique experience. It was the first time ever I had used a translator tool. And I got to hear the experiences of workers in factories across the US, and albeit devastating to hear the way that their rights have been violated, the sense of bravery that these people have to make a change about that was so inspiring. These people are not interested in just being walked over. They have the bravery and the courage to go to Arise and say, hey, I'm getting violated in my workplace and something about this needs to change. And then actually acting on it.
Wonderful.
And it's very inspiring to hear the bravery that came out of these stories. And it's a tragedy that these things are still happening. And I'm just happy that grantees like Arise are working towards change.
And by the way, Father Dominic Grassi of a Chicago priest is on that board of Arise Chicago.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they do great work. And before we close, Danny, give us the website, maybe even a phone number people could contact, your ministry, your work, to learn more or to make a contribution.
Yes, our website is cchd.chicago.org.
One more time.
And the fastest way, cchd.chicago.org. And the fastest way to reach me is by email, which is dbodette, Bodette, at archchicago.org.
Okay, I want to thank in a very special way Danny Baudet and Anna Miller for the great work you do. God bless both of you.
Yes.
The thing that has struck both of us is that your enthusiasm, your youthfulness, your commitment to the gospel, the ways of Jesus, you energize us
Right.
and the wider community. So our prayers are with you. So thank you very, very much for all you do. I want to thank in a very special way my co-host, Mark Teresi.
It was an honor to be here.
And by the way, Danny and Anna, Mark and I have been friends for 51 years.
Yes.
We go back way before you were ever born, and we're still talking to each other.
I had hair.
And, it's right, and I had more blonde hair.
Yeah.
My brother's I got wavy hair. It's waving goodbye. So, oh God, I'm just so funny, Mark.
Yeah.
I also want to thank in a special way our producers and engineers, Michael May and Clint Cottrell. So God bless all our listeners. Have a wonderful week, and go Bears. Go Chiefs. Don't go Packers.